What up, sports fans? I'm Paulo Camacho, and this is the Macho Sports Report, where I talk to you about the sports stories that matter to me, hopefully matter to you. Full disclosure, guys, I'm not a regular purveyor of women's college basketball. Then again, I haven't really been following the men's game either. But that's besides the point. I may not follow the women's game all that much, but I do know one consistent, immutable truth about the game. The University of Connecticut is far and away the best team in the country, at least over the past couple decades. When it comes to women's March Madness, UConn wins, lol. Boy, I hope some of you understood that meme. Anyway, the Boston Globe's Dan Shaughnessy, who it should be noted is a respected sports journalist, took a look at the Lady Huskies' remarkable run at the top and went with the hot take that their dominance is bad for the game. Said Shaughnessy in a tweet after UConn's 60-point annihilation of Mississippi State in the Sweet 16. UConn women beat Mississippi State 98-38 in NCAA tourney. Hate to punish them for being great, but they aren't killing women's game. Watch? No thanks. Yeah, not many women's hoops fans were happy about that. Citing many dominant teams over the ether of 20th century sport, from UCLA's wooden years to the Boston Celtics of the 1960s to the Chicago Bulls of the 1990s to friggin' Tiger Woods. The many Shaughnessy detractors pointed squarely at them. Those teams and those athletes helped grow the sports that they dominated. They didn't kill them. Some even claim that Shaughnessy's criticism was a veiled attack on women's sports. Well, Shaughnessy did go on to elaborate that he was talking about the utter dominance that UConn has displayed in their wins. I mean, a 60-point win in the Sweet 16? Why would you want to watch that? Ultimately, Dan's main point was more an indictment of the rest of the country's women's basketball programs, more so than it was an indictment over how good UConn was. To quote Dan in his latest commentary piece, in response to the bombardment of criticism heaped upon him, it's not just the winning, it's the margin of wins. They simply have no competition. This is not UConn's fault, but is it really good for the game? It can't be good for ESPN. The network folks know 98-38 is a ratings killer, so now they're fanning the too good for the sport theme and coloring it as sexist in an effort to create outrage to make folks watch their unwatchable UConn games. Sports don't grow in popularity unless people watch them on TV. And I don't know a lot of sports fans who enjoy 98-38 in a tournament game. Alright, Dan, there's no denying that blowout victories aren't necessarily good for the game. And hell, I think you do have a point about how games like that aren't really helping the sport grow. But I feel like there are two flaws in this line of thinking. One, looking at UConn's dominance as an overarching reason that women's college basketball isn't as popular as other sports is, well, pretty obtuse. And two, I feel like this was Shaughnessy finding an easy scapegoat for women's basketball not being as popular. Long story short, UConn blowing everyone out is not remotely a reason that I choose not to watch. And I'm sure the same can be said for a lot of people who choose not to watch. It's an easy conclusion to come to. Certainly. Blowouts are usually boring. People don't like boring stuff. Therefore, UConn's boring blowouts are the reason people don't watch. But at the very least, it's a flawed conclusion. Look, being someone who barely follows women's college basketball even during tournament time, I can tell you that there are probably a number of reasons why, personally, women's college basketball doesn't resonate with me as a sport that I follow closely. And honestly, UConn's utter dominance over the rest of the NCAA ranks pretty damn low for me on that list. It doesn't enter my mind as a reason I don't flock to see a women's college basketball game. So I guess I can agree with Shaughnessy on something. Sports don't grow in popularity unless people watch them. But there's more of a general problem to the lack of interest in women's college basketball than just pointing at the dominance of a team, no matter how boring their dominance can be. But anyway, that's all I got. Hell, I'm not even sure I said anything of substance. In any case, I want to know what you guys think. Do you agree with Dan Shaughnessy that UConn's dominance is killing the game of women's college basketball? Why or why not? Leave your responses in the comment section below. I'm Paulo Camacho, and this has been the Macho Sports Report. Peace out, sports fans!